Hello everyone. As of filming, we are 1 week away from the end of the Thunderdome era. Is Bayley prepared to say I quit? Who is Zalina Vega eyeing? And what's so important about Kevin Owens' message that it would not wait? I'm Casualeann. Come with me. Segment 1 is with Kayla and Pat McAfee. And once again, we see that Paul Heyman is not with us. Pat is sporting a bracing blue jean denim suit looking like about $9 million with a $500,000 coif. And he calls talking smack the best thing on Peacock. He is really plugging how amazing talking smack is, and I love it. The conversation turns to the return of live fans for July 16th, the go-home SmackDown before Money in the Bank. And again, he talks up the Thunderdome, but he slips in how excited he is about the return of live fans. He reminds us that he came in the middle of the Thunderdome era, which is interesting because for better or worse, he doesn't have quite the same perspective of working in front of the huge main roster live crowd. The Thunderdome is what he knows of main roster commentary for WWE. Now he's done it for NXT, he's filled in on SmackDown before he was brought on contract, but with him being a fan first and him being so animated too, it's really going to be fascinating to see how Pat McAfee actually reacts once he's in front of live fans. The first SmackDown topic is the return of Edge and the fact that he is finally going to get his WrestleMania rematch one-on-one for the Universal title against Roman Reigns. Now the question on everyone's lips is, where the heck was Roman on SmackDown? And count my lips among them, because I was wondering that the whole show. Where on earth was Roman? The duo watches back the footage of Edge spearing Jimmy Uso, but then giving him a crossface with a piece of broken chair across Jimmy's mouth. Maybe just because it's 2021, I was more worried about the chair actually being in Jimmy's mouth than how ferocious the crossface itself looked, but yeah, I guess such are the times. Now in this footage, Edge comes off as absolutely unglued. He made you think, watching it, that he might be hiding inside the curtains of Roman's house or like in his pantry somewhere, ready to destroy him. Kayla emphasizes Roman's absence, but Pat defends him as you would expect from a color heel commentator, and his position at the top of the WWE sphere. Kayla notes how far, in something of a turn, Baron Corbin has fallen, and in what I usually give truth credit for, she echoes fan sentiment. She says, I never pitied him before. And she's absolutely right. Like, I love Baron Corbin. Like, I've always been a big, huge Baron Corbin fan. This sympathetic turn that he's taken now, being so embodying of the down on my luck, look what's happened to me sort of persona. I mean, it's absolutely perfect, but I've heard, as you may have also, about WWE trademarking the name Happy Corbin. I don't know where things are headed, but I like his character as it stands at the moment. He does have a Money in the Bank qualifying match with King Shinsuke, and with these evolving characters, I'm interested to see how the match goes. But we've seen them fight already. Oh, what? They move on to Otis's new look. They also did that last week and not much was different here, so I'm not going to really go into details. Pat comments about how vicious Otis has become. I've commented on it as well, so make sure that you check out my comments on Alpha Academy's Talking Smack segment. Wonderful. They are back to 3 guest segments. We have our guests Bayley, Zalina Vega, and Kevin Owens. Now we'll see if the 3 guest segment format extends back into Paul Heyman's return. The fact that they have it for however long as they do is fine with me. So we get a quick commercial break. Segment 2 is with Bayley, who is challenging Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship in an I Quit match. Kayla gives a couple of her accolades, one among them being that she's the first woman to become a Grand Slam champion. Pat welcomes Bayley with her ding-dong hello greeting, which she is elated to hear. She calls Bianca an idiot for making the stipulation and starts cackling. Weren't we past that now? Pat gives Bianca's attributes, cites her determination, and asks if Bayley's jealous and how she plans to make Bianca say, I quit. Bayley recognizes that she is at the top, but the only time she would have said, I quit, was the night Bianca won. Pat asks about the savagery of an I Quit match and what Bayley's going to do if she succumbs, then immediately walks back that latter half. Bayley at this point attempts to contort history, saying she'd prefer a fair match in which the combatants go at it and see who's the best. Now, when I hear this, I'm thinking, what? That's literally what's been happening since Sasha left. What are you talking about? What's the deal here? She accuses Bianca of cheating and using her hair as a weapon. That's somewhat well trodden ground. It didn't really make a lot of sense, I didn't think. There's a random idea that keeps coming up, one of 1901. She mentions it in how long she's been ahead of Bianca, how long she's wanted a match with Kayla, how long she's been winning since 1901. If there's some history of Bianca or Bayley or NXT or WWE surrounding 1901 that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments. It may have just been some weird random thing, but it came up a lot. Bayley herself admits that she's intimidated by the I Quit match, and so she can only imagine how Bianca must feel. But nevertheless, she is ready and she's taking the title back. So she goes off, and Kayla says that she has to prepare mentally for Zalina Vega. She's hearkening to she and Zalina Vega's weird, extensive friendship. I didn't understand that fully at the time, but going back now and watching even the Instagram interviews and stuff like that, it's pretty interesting. More to the point about the feud. With the idea of one of these steely, resolute women having to do what they claimed they never would, quit. I hope that this feud is going to get more serious and not just be about, Bayley's chuckle problem. I wasn't impressed with the segment exactly, but I like the direction of their confrontations these past couple of weeks. We have a commercial break, and segment 3 is with Zalina Vega. She recently returned and has been named to the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. So there are definitely some icicles forming on the screen as Kayla and Zelina start their interaction. Vega's sparring that she knows Kayla's so happy to see her. Pat reflects my confusion as to not knowing what exactly their problem is at the moment, and he asks about Zelina being named to the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Zelina states Kayla is irrelevant, and she's just so good that she doesn't need to qualify. The real answer being there are no women on SmackDown, but sure, why not? Kayla mentions that Liv Morgan did defeat her and slapped her, and they even watched the footage back. Again, I keep wondering about the Liv Morgan question. What is going on here? Is there a point? I hope that there is a good storyline reason, that there's something that's being built to that's specific in Liv Morgan not qualifying, because otherwise it's really pointless. We know there's no women there. She asks if Liv Morgan's win via a handful of tights is legit. despite the fact that she tried to do the same exact thing and got caught. But she calls the tactic the new thing kids are doing now, and there are limited gaps in my knowledge, but I'm pretty sure tights grabbing falls into the category of like way back. They show the slate of women that have already qualified for the match, and Kayla asks about potential threats, and Zelina doesn't see any competition. She pulls out some season 1 boondocks, game recognized game, they're looking unfamiliar, all that sort of thing. Kayla asks about Zalina Vega's choice of champion should she win the briefcase, and Zelina responds that she has some unfinished business with Bianca. She says she can take on anyone, but Belair is the one she has her eye on. Now, outside of Bianca just being SmackDown Women's Champion, this is fascinating. She's wished good luck. She heads off. In story, I would love to see them go at it again. A hardcore battle of words and fists. They have that history from last year when Zelina was with Angel Garza, managing both him and Andrade, and Montez Ford, that whole poisoning gimmick, or not gimmick, but that whole poisoning angle. It all made for captivating, realistic stuff. Bianca's first run-in on the main roster was against Zelina. Go back and watch some of their clips if you have the chance. Oh my goodness, underrated stuff. I'd love to see them light it up. I cannot say it enough, especially in front of a huge live crowd. We get one more commercial break, and segment 4 is with Kevin Owens. As is custom now, the 4th segment is prefaced with cards for important SmackDown matches. They give us one for Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. This is a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Now, in a mid-card heavy roster, in which you're basically importing part-timers to fight Roman, I think Cesaro needs to be protected a bit more and eventually built back up to face Roman again. Cesaro's in kind of a critical point here, and as I said in the Hell in a Cell review, Seth Rollins takes no damage by losing to Cesaro, but you have Cesaro keep losing to Seth, and it does force Cesaro back firmly into the mid-card. And I know I certainly don't want to see that. I'm under no misapprehensions about Cesaro actually winning, but I at least hope that Seth doesn't beat him clean like he did at Hell in a Cell. But King Nakamura versus Baron Corbin is also shown. We've seen it, 1,018 times already. I guess this will be 1,019. Again, on the strength of their characters alone, I'm all in. Kevin Owens comes out. Pat asks how he's still standing after the last man standing match with Sami Zayn. Kayla offers her congratulations for him qualifying, and KO asks Kayla where Paul is. He's always kind of sympathetic to her and what she deals with regarding Heyman, and Kayla cites the Uso Edge problem as kind of filling up his dance card. Pat gives a shtick about Heyman's responsibilities, and now because of that he's next to greatness, and Kevin says he's almost as full of blank as Paul is. So Kevin Owens has some things to say to Heyman. He's gonna call him. Kevin has his phone out, and I'm thinking, oh boy, this is gonna be good. Kevin, while searching for Heyman's number, gives us a touch of a reminder that he's actually a babyface, stating he had high hopes for Jimmy, not following in Jay's footsteps. And he did mention that explicitly the last time he was asked about the Usos on Talking Smack. Now, mind you, after Roman dispatched Kevin for this last time, there has been very little interaction between what Kevin has been doing with Sami Zayn, and kind of being in and out of the Intercontinental title hunt, and the Tribal Chief Usos storyline. Things have been pretty separate. But the fact that he brought that in from the last time he was asked about it on Talking Smack, ooh, brilliant character work. A lovely, lovely piece of continuity. Kevin Owens blocks his number, calls Heyman and puts the head of the table, the tribal chief, the head of the Island of Relevancy, on notice. He tells Heyman that he's qualified to be in Money in the Bank. He's going to win, and when he does, he's coming for Roman, and he's going to take the Universal title. And I kid you not, after all of that, after that fire, Paul Heyman says, "You must have the wrong number," and hangs up. Pat is laughing at this. Then he promptly apologizes, and Kevin fires back, "It's okay. When I win the contract, beat Roman, and become Universal Champion, I'll be the one laughing." All these great talkers. It's like whoever is in front of me at the moment, I believe that that person could be Mr. Money in the Bank. When Drew talks about it, I could see him being Mr. Money in the Bank. When Big E is all, hype and he's talking about where he's headed, what he wants, I believe him. And then after this segment, I'm like, man, I want to see Kevin Owens as Mr. Money in the Bank. That would be amazing. Even though I've already seen Roman and Kevin go at it a bunch of times, he's persuaded me that I want to see it again. For a must-watch segment, lately, Talking Smack has been saving its fire for the last segment, and this week is no different. Kevin Owens blew it apart. His calm demeanor kind of drawing us into this false sense of security, and then him intimidating Paul Heyman over the phone. It was brilliant. My rating is 4 out of 5. Bayley's segment was just okay. Zelina's was better, but not by much. But luckily, the first and fourth segments were great enough to kind of bolster everything else. That was Talking Smack from July 3rd. What do you make of Zalina Vega's return? Who would you prefer to have qualify for the ladder match? Seth or Cesaro? Let me know down in the comments. Keep an eye out for my Money in the Bank predictions video, and let me know what your predictions are for the first post-Thunderdome era pay-per-view. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. That is how the channel grows and gets recommended to others, so it helps when you do. Thank you all so much, as always, for watching. Thank you to everyone who comments, everyone who subscribes. I cannot tell you how much it means. I'll see you soon.